All right. Barvtes. Yes, haistan shatim serum. Inche genki emasta. My name is Alan Sakyan. I'm Armenian. I live in Silicon Valley in San Francisco. I've been there 5 years. I came to Yerevan to visit my family, and I've had some great epic adventures going to Artsakh, going to Sevan, exploring the culture and the history has been a lot of fun. And while I'm here, I really want to help people feel like they can achieve their goals and that they can start businesses with the newest and most trending technologies and succeed with that. Does that sound good? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I want to help you guys out. So I want to thank you for having me. Thank you very much. And thank you guys for coming to class. I hope this talk will be something that you guys can take valuable information from. So I'd like to just quickly start off by saying I see some people have notebooks and pencils and stuff like that, or computers to take notes. I highly recommend taking notes. The reason why is because when you fire neurons, they wire in your mind. And so the more that you're writing things down and that you're revisiting them every day or every week or every month, the more they'll become a habit within you, okay? So I highly recommend taking notes. Is this good speaking speed?
Yes.
Somebody raise their hand if I'm speaking too fast. No? Okay. All right. So I'd really like it if we could maybe break outside of our shell right now. I know there's like a little bit of, uncomfortability boiling up. So I have this exercise that I do, a few exercises. There's going to be time for Q&A afterward. But the first exercise is we're going to do something a little more like exciting, okay? So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then we're all going to go, yes! Okay? All right? Do it with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yes! That was good. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3. Yes! 1, 2, 3. Yes! All right. I love it. And see, you feel excitement? Yeah? Feel energetic now? And then on the other hand, we have the more calmer, more meditative side of things, which is when we close our eyes, and I want us to practice this together. We're just going to hum at the same frequency. We're all going to go, Om. Okay? It sounds funny, but when we do it together, it's really cool. Okay? All right, close your eyes, and let's all Om together. Ready? Om. So there's these cool dynamics between going yes and going, calming down. So that'll be part of this discussion today. I did some intro. I gave you guys some of the idea. I'm going to be talking about founder tips. Please do find me on LinkedIn and Facebook. It's my name, Alan Sakyan. And feel free to email me as well. The reason why I want you guys to find me online is to stay in touch with me. If you guys have ideas or conversations about strategizing how to execute your businesses, please feel free to message me online. I post a lot of my content here too, so you can hear more of my ideas and how I'm trying to amplify my voice. All right, so let's jump into it with a quick overview of what we'll be seeing. We're going to go over 12 of these founder tips. The first one's going to be about having a founder mindset. The second one's going to be about being a polymath and empath, which we'll dive into those words in a minute. Technology trends, empowering questions, finding co-founders, hiring teammates, sales, scaling, celebrating success, learning culture, peak performance, and health and meditation. So we'll cover all of those. How long do we have? 60 minutes-ish? Right? Yeah, cool. All right. So we'll for sure get through this all and leave you guys with time for questions. So tip number 1, founder mindset. Who feels like they're going to start a company at some point in this room? Or already have, yeah? Who has started a company or, yeah, raise your hands again. Again, has started? Okay. Now who wants to start a company in this room? Raise your hand. All right, good stuff. Very good. That's more than 85% of you want to start a company, and some of you have even started a company. So that's really important because do you want the world to just happen to you? No. You want to change the world, right? You want to build the future. Is that correct? All right. And every time you nod your head, just give me a yes instead, okay? Speak out loud. So do you want to change the world?
Yes.
I love it. All right, good. Let's be on speaking terms. Speak with me, engage with me, okay? All right. So what do we need to have a founder mindset? Well, there's a lot of things. And there's every single one of these points, there's a lot of things. I'm going to try and cover what I know, what I've practiced. So the first question is, what impact do you want to make in the universe? That's a really crucial life question. What are you going to wake up every single morning with a fire under your butt to do? Because you need that. You need a fire under your butt to achieve something every single day. And how are you going to change the world? What impact do you want to leave behind? How many of our ideas, let's do it by raise of hands. How many of you want to make the world a better place with your ideas? Raise your hands. Again, over 90% of you want to make the world a better place with your ideas. So this next one's about, you not only should you know about what impact you want to make in the world, but about exciting other people to come along with you. Do we feel like we have the right amount of excitement right now? Do you guys, yeah? You say yes. How many of you feel like you have the right amount of excitement in getting people together and building it? Okay, maybe 20%. How many of you need to work on your level of excitement? Okay, maybe like 40%. So now, what are some of the things that you can do to like work on your level of excitement and stuff? Waking up every single day and knowing that you love what you do and that you're trying to bring other people together to actually make it happen, and practicing that over and over again. We'll go over some more tips. Won't go too deep into that, but please engage on how to excite other people. We'll get into that as well. This is really crucial. Powerful executor, networker, and impactor. So what do I mean by that? How many of us set goals and then they don't happen? Happens to me all the time. How many of us set goals and finish those goals and it feels really good? A lot too. So we know the feeling when we set a goal and finish it feels exceptional. We need to do that more often and practice that and be a role model for ourselves. And with the networking thing, I'll dive into that and impacting, I'll dive into that in the next tip. And then leading by example with the work-leisure balance. So people always talk about work-life balance, work-life balance. Well, I think that if you love what you do every single day, it's not a work-life balance. It becomes like a work-leisure balance. So you end up working, and then you have time for leisure, for doing things that might not actually be related to work, like going and hanging out on Lake Savon, that kind of stuff. But then it is actually kind of related to work because you're relaxing and then you're going and able to focus on work better later. All right. Tip number 2. Polymath and empath. So these words, they might seem, does anyone know what they mean? So they're really, they seem scary. They're not. Polymath just means wide-ranging learning. So we know lots of people that go and hyper-specialize into one field. And that's good. A lot of people do just hyper-specialize in one field. That's great. Now, when it comes to knowing a lot about a lot of different things, what it helps you do is it helps you find connections between things. So maybe if you know a little bit about biotechnology and you know a little bit about space, you can understand astrobiology better, how the Earth evolved over time. So things like that. And knowing a lot about a lot of different things will also help you with building relationships with people. So being an empath is to be an emotional intelligence expert. And when you are able to really feel the emotions of another person really well, you're able to build better teams, sell product better, make the world a better place faster, relate with people. And we'll dive into that as we go as well in a little more detail. All right, tip number 3, technology trends. So I just want to quickly touch on this one and the second one, just because, in the fourth point, because this is part of being a polymath. Understanding technology trends is crucial for you to start your businesses, because how many of us have looked at an idea that we've had and then we looked it up online and it was already made? Somebody else had already done it. So many times. Exactly. Almost every week it happens. You're just like, oh, somebody else has done it. Oh, somebody else has done it already. So it's important to understand where technology is heading, and then to try and build things that other people aren't building or thinking of. So the first technology trend that's really important is artificial intelligence and robotics. So who here thinks that pouring coffee is going to be a job for a human in the future? Raise your hand. 0%. Awesome. Because it's not going to be a job for a human in the future. It's already a job for a robot. And the same thing applies to driving vehicles, anything in the service or manufacturing industry. Anything that has repetitive work over and over again that's repetitive will be automated. And so our goal is to do things that can't be automated as best as possible. Creative work, abstract work, work that is very unlikely to get automated. It'll take the longest to get automated. And this is actually going into other industries that most people previously didn't think of. You didn't think that work in the field of being a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant would be, because things change all the time, but those fields are also slowly getting some automation into them. With accounting, we have optical character recognition, so you throw in a document into scanner, and then you're able to scan it and then give, for example, submit taxes to the government or profit and loss for your company. With law, smart contracts now, instead of me having to go to a lawyer or a notary to pay them intermediary fee, now I can give you a car, and then you can give me $5,000, and we can do that with a smart contract without a third-party intermediary. And even with doctors, we all know, how many of us have a doctor friend in the family or in friend network? Yeah, a lot of us. And so we know how much work they do. It's like five clients a day that you're trying to help, plus you have to go and read all of the medical papers that are being published so that you know what to provide with your clients. Well, not anymore, not as much anymore. Now you can, with that same sort of technology with optical character recognition, you submit all of the newest papers into AI that reads it and then sends you a recommendation for your clients. Does that sound cool? Mm-hmm. All right, so that way you can just get a bzz in your pocket, and then you're like, oh, Ali has this new technology, can you get this new medicine because of this new research that was published? All right, I just don't want to spend too much time on these. VR, AR, education, blockchain. The coolest thing that I think about VR and AR is that it gives us location agnosticism, which basically means that you don't need to be in the office to work in the office. You don't need to go to Machu Picchu to see Machu Picchu. You can sit on your couch in full 4K resolution and be in your meeting or go to vacation with a haptic suit. Blockchain's a very cool technology. If you're not familiar with it, it's just decentralizing power. So rather than having a centralized entity, it's decentralizing it. That's something very cool to look into. Biotechnology, parsing the code of life, things like genetic engineering is blowing up, and so is clean meat. I haven't had a very good response from people in Armenia about this. How many of you are excited about meat without animals? Raise your hand.
About what?
Meat without animals.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so maybe like 10%. So what, meat without animals, you just use a cell from that animal and then you grow the meat without actually needing to raise an animal, slaughter it, and then use that meat. So Yeah, it's interesting. Neuroscience, mapping the brain, and then being able to do things like provide digital medicine to people. Somebody that has ADHD and can't focus right now, we can actually prescribe them a video game instead of medication for them to focus better. So healthcare, things like sending nanobots into your body to be able to get all of the cancerous cells out of you. So lastly, space, energy, and global warming. I find space to be absolutely fascinating. Who here thinks that the Earth ego needs to be brought down by finding more life? Yes, good, lots of you. That's so important as we search the cosmos for life to bring our own ego down. 1 out of every 5 stars has an Earth-like planet orbiting it, and it's really awesome to go and try and figure out where are they, is there actual life? Is it like us, this carbon-based DNA sequenced life, or is it something completely different? Okay, energy and global warming. So, how many of us think that we're going to be using fossil fuels forever? You think so? Yeah, for a while longer. So I definitely believe we're going to be transitioning to solar energy and nuclear fusion, stuff like that, as we progress into the future. There's a lot of cool concepts that you can look into, like something called a Dyson sphere, which is a bunch of satellites that get sent up around a star, and then they laser the energy back to Earth. It's really cool sci-fi technologies, but it's also things that we should be discussing and we should be building into our future. And global warming, of course, taking carbon out of our atmosphere, and then because humans are slowly warming our atmosphere. Okay, next point, empowering questions. This point is about the empath. So that other point was about the polymath side of things, knowing a lot about a lot of different things. And did that resonate with you guys, knowing a little bit about those things? It's important, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. And on the empowering question side of things, what's important here is you can really quickly build relationships with people. So this is like a little 4-step thing that I've slowly started to make more sense out of. By asking empowering questions, here, like these. Where are you from? What are you passionate about? Because what that does is it lets you take the conversation to what their answer was. For example, let's go ahead. What are you passionate about?
Design.
Okay, so his response was design, right? So there's 2 ways I can go. I can either say, cool, conversation ends, right? Or follow-up question is, why are you passionate about design, right? Mm-hmm. And then that extends conversation further. And so then what you do slowly over time is you build a relationship with somebody, you empathize with what they care about, and then oxytocin is a hormone that's secreted from the brain. It's related to trust. And most of us first experience it when we're bonding with our mother as we are being breastfed. And over time, this part doesn't even need to happen. It doesn't. If you do this over and over and over again and build really great relationships with people, sales comes naturally. It comes naturally. Once people see that you've built a great relationship with them and you're like, hey, I have this product or service after you've built a great relationship with them, then they're much more likely to trust you and to buy from you and to see the value that you bring to them. Does this part make sense? Okay.
Yes.
Yes? All right. There we go. I like the yeses. All right. Tip number 5. Finding co-founders. All right. So I think this is a majority of you guys are on this finding co-founder level right now. You have ideas. You're wanting to start them into the world. How do I find the right people to start my ideas with? How many of you would say that you are on the business side of things? Raise your hand. Versus the technical side of things. On the business side of things. Okay, and then how many of you are on the technical side of things? Raise your hand. Okay, so there's a slightly disproportionate amount of people in technical, which is about what is happening in the world. There's a slightly more technical than there are business. Now, it's really important for you to look at one another and ask each other this thing. If you're starting a project that needs a technical co-founder, which almost all projects need a technical co-founder, then it's up to you to go and find that person to start the business with. And if you're a technical person, you'll want to find somebody on the business side of things to start your company with. That makes sense, right? Okay. This is really important. They have to be passionate about the idea that you're starting. A superstar is worth so much. What is a superstar? Okay. You have someone that is like, I'm gonna go to work, finish what I need to get done, and then I'm gonna go home and watch TV or hang out or do whatever. That's great. That's somebody's gonna do the basic work that they get assigned to at the company. And then you have superstars. Superstars are the people that absolutely love what they do at the work that they do every single day. So much to where they talk about it all the time when they leave work, when they go home, when they're with friends, that kind of stuff. But then they also talk about other things that aren't related to work. It's not only work all the time. But this type of a person is worth 10 times more than an average person is. So it's really important to find these superstars and take your time, but go quick trying to find these people. Go to meetups, go to events with other people, and try to find the teammates. And then in terms of the amount of equity that you want to give to co-founders of your companies, this is definitely completely dependent on companies on a case-by-case basis, but just as a general average, to give away 1 to 10% equity of your company to co-founders with vested cliffs is about what I figured out to be pretty good. What do I mean by vested cliffs? That means that you give them 5% equity over a period of 4 years. And then every 12 months they earn 1.25%. Does that make sense? Right? Okay. Does that not make sense for anyone? No. Okay. Feel free to engage. As always, engage with me. All right. To hire teammates, people that are not necessarily co-founders, but other people that are joining your team at slightly later stages. Some of the things that I found to be really important are finding exceptional engineers and designers. And so that means pretty technical people. In a lot of cases, people that are that know the programming languages that you're trying to build things in, that know the engineering techniques of mechanical or electrical engineering, the things that you need to build your product or service. And on the design side of things, people that understand functionality. That something needs to function well and look good together. It's really important. So to find those people, go out, go to more events, network more with people, and find really great people that are passionate about what you like doing. And then the next one's operational and sales people. So this is people that are really go-getters, people that are going to be within your company, making sure that everything's running smoothly and that customers are getting the products and that they're engaging with the customers and making sure that they're satisfied. You're getting referrals from those customers, you're getting reviews from them, all of that kind of stuff. Again, really superstar people on the team. And on this equity percentage, somewhere between 0.25% of equity to 2% of equity, also vested over a period of 4 years with cliffs. Now, again, it can be vested over 2 years, it can be vested monthly instead of yearly, so it's completely case by case. If somebody's really, really great and they're not a co-founder, you can give them 5% equity. But just remember on your cap table that you're gonna have out of your 10 million or however many shares you have, that you have to leave room for investment, you have to leave room for your 50th team member, your 100th team member. We familiar with cap table? No, okay. So cap table is that you'll have 10 million shares of your company. We're familiar with shares of our company, okay? And then if you give somebody 10% of your company, that's 1 million of your shares. So then it goes onto your cap table in your like Excel spreadsheet, where there's a few services you can use online for cap table management. That way you know how many millions of shares are left of your company. And then, for example, some are going to vest over time, so you know that, okay, this person joined on this date, and then this person joined on this date, so the dates are going to be different, so they're going to get their shares vested at different times. So that's what cap table management is, so you know about the shares of your company and how they're being managed. Write that down, cap table, look that up, become familiar with cap tables.
I have a question.
Yes, please interrupt with questions.
Before sharing the shares with investors or anyone, it's yours, right?
Yes, correct. Correct. So once you incorporate the company as a formal entity, the shares are completely of the people that incorporated it. So whether that be you and one person or just you, they are of yours. Yeah, correct. Do we have other questions? All right. Do you guys see my shirt? I train superheroes. We have a university called Draper University, which these guys are very familiar with, in Silicon Valley. Very entrepreneur-focused university. And when you mentor there, you get these cool shirts. Love it. It's such a cool shirt. All right. Halfway through. You guys feel good? Yes? All right. Feel like we're learning something?
Yes.
All right. You gonna say it with me? 1, 2, 3.
Yes!
Yes! All right. I love it. All right. Sales cures everything. I don't have money. Go sell. You sell, you get money, and then that's cured. The problem's cured. Make sure that you're constantly selling yourself, your products on a daily basis. There's this funny thing called always be closing, ABC, always be closing. All right, analyze their budget, ask for high end. What do I mean by that? You're selling to a company, you're selling your product or service, and they use, how much do you usually typically pay for a service like mine? You ask them. Somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000. Oh man, $5,000, that would be so great. All right, it would be great. But what you want to do is you want to tell them $10,000. Go for the high end of their budget right away. Say that, okay, I think that we can make it work for the $10,000 price point. That's a little bit lower than what we typically sell the product for, but we can probably make it work for the $10,000 price point. And then wait, shut up, and just wait and listen to what they say. And then don't say anything, wait. And then you hear from them, okay, well, we can maybe make the 10,000 work. Let me work with my team and see what happens. Sometimes you get the 10,000. Sometimes they'll come back and say, well, how about 8 or how about 6? But guess what? You're still making more than 5. That makes sense? Awesome. Don't be scared, because the companies that you're selling your product or service to, this is how I like to explain it in terms of analogies. When we start companies, startups, we're a little toddler, we're a little child, like little baby, maybe 1-year-old baby. The companies we're selling to are at least 10 years old, 20 years old adult, 30, 40 sometimes, if you're talking about Google, 50-year-old adults. So what you want, they have so much money, millions and billions of dollars. To you, 5 or 10,000 is big time. To them, not that much. So ask them for the high end of their budget. All right. Don't be scared to take on discounted clients and free clients. Let's say you're talking to your first client and you say 5 to 10,000, and they say, I can't afford that. I can't even afford 2,000 right now. And you're like, hey, it's okay. I really like your service. I like what you guys do. So I'll provide you with our product for $1,000 for what you can afford right now. And can you just promise me to provide me with feedback on the product, to provide me with referrals for other people that might be interested in the product? So it depends on where you're at, but don't be scared to take on free clients or discounted clients to get feedback and to get referrals and to put companies on your website. Boom, company logo, boom, company logo, boom, company logo, versus we don't have any clients yet. Different, big difference, right, when somebody lands on your website. Okay. All right. So following up with your clients is really important. how often have we bought a product or service from somebody and then we never heard from them again? Happens a lot. Happens a lot. And we almost don't feel like we're respected in that sense. That you want somebody to reach out to you and say, how are you liking my product or service? Fill out maybe this survey or fill out feedback on my product. And then, once you get that feedback, you can work with them on getting referrals. So once I've sent you a feedback, you've sent me what you think about the product or service. Now that I've maybe jumped on the phone with you and told you that, hey, this thing that you may not be liking about the product, we can maybe fix it this way. You've seen that I've built more trust with you as a provider of a service or product. And then when I ask you, can you maybe refer 1 or 2 people to our product and you'll get 10% off next month? Then you go, maybe, sure, yeah. And so that's how you can get better referrals or incentives to grow the sales of the company. All right. Scaling. Scaling. You guys scaling?
Trying.
Trying?
Yeah.
Are you guys selling?
Yep.
Yes.
How much are you selling?
Pretty much.
A lot?
Yeah.
Okay. What does a lot mean? Few hundreds, few thousands, tens of thousands?
Already thousands.
Thousands per
Maybe.
month or per year?
Per month.
Per month, thousands per
Yeah.
month? Good. Is it software?
No, it's
Hardware?
service.
What is it?
It's marketing services, kind of.
Digital
Yeah,
marketing
advertising.
and accounting?
Not accounting, advertising. marketing
Advertising,
campaigns,
digital
yeah.
marketing, advertising services, okay. Mostly in Armenia?
Mm,
Yeah.